guys, so today I'm going to be showing you a pretty cool looking trick, and this is what it looks like. So over here, we have the deck of cards which can be shuffled by the spectators. And I say spectators because this trick actually uses the help of two different spectators. So the first spectator, you can just go ahead and name any card that you like here. Let's say the King of Diamonds, all right? The second spectator can name another one, let's say the King of Clubs. So two kings, King of Diamonds, King of Clubs. We'll go ahead and lose those cards somewhere in the center of the pack, just like this. So this shuffle is not the messiest shuffle. I kind of want to make it a little bit more messy over here. So let's really make it chaotic with this face up and face down shuffle, just like this, okay? So now we have some cards facing up and we have some cards facing down. You can really see here how chaotic it is with all these facing up and facing down cards going every which way. So it's going to be pretty difficult for me to find your cards, but I'll try and find them one at a time. So I'll start with you since you chose a card first. I'm going to try and cut your card with one simple cut. 1, 2, 3, just like that. Hopefully we should get one card right over here, the King of Diamonds. And yes, that was your card. So your card was the King of Clubs, I believe, right? So remember how we shuffled the cards facing up and facing down? If I just snap my fingers and spread through the cards, you can see that every single card goes back to normal, except for one card, your card, the King of Clubs. And at this point, everything can be examined. So that is the trick, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. And if you did, be sure to stick around for the tutorial. All right, guys, so here's the tutorial, the trick that you just saw. So I'm sure a lot of you guys recognize this trick already. It's called the sloppy triumph or the sloppy shuffle. It's just a really, really easy and simple way to perform the triumph effect. I came up with this cool variation if you want to have two cards selected instead of one, because usually when you do this trick, you can only have one card selected, but this version allows you to have two or possibly more cards selected as well. And I'll get into what you want to do. If you want to do more than two cards, I'll explain some tips on how to make this better for that. But for now, I'll teach you guys how you can have two spectators select two cards and reveal them using this cool triumph effect. So without further ado, let's get right into how it's done. So this trick is completely impromptu, and all you want to do is have two cards selected and then controlled to the bottom of the deck. So what I did in the performance, I would just have the spectators name any card, or you can also just have them select any card as well if you don't want the magician to see what the cards are. So you can have spectator number 1 select a card, spectator number 2 select a card, and let's say we have the 8 of spades and the 3 of hearts. And then what you can do is you can just cull both of these to the bottom of the pack. So you can cull that one underneath, and then you can take the other one here, and you can also cull this one underneath as well. So now you have both cards controlled to the bottom of the pack. You can also do any other control that you like, it's up to you. Once you have both cards on the bottom of the pack, you're gonna start doing this sloppy shuffle. So you tell the spectators that you wanna be a little bit messy here because you want it to be difficult for you to find their cards. So what you're gonna do is take a few of the cards and you're just gonna turn your wrist over, place them on top, continue to spread a few more, and then turn your wrist back over. And you're just gonna continue doing this. So spread off some cards, turn your wrist over, spread off, turn it over again, and just continue doing this until you get to the bottom of the deck. When you have two cards left, you're gonna wanna stop when you have two cards and then just place these two cards separately on top of either side. It doesn't matter which side you do. And these cards are the two selections that are gonna be isolated from the other face down cards over here. So once you've done that, you should be in this position. So to the spectator, it looks like there should be a crazy shuffled arrangement of facing up and face down cards, but in reality, there's only going to be one half of face down cards and the other half of face up cards, and then the two selections right here on top. So once you're in this position, you can have this really cool visual image here where you're actually going to cut less than half the deck, set it aside, and then you're just gonna wanna split these cards somewhere towards the bottom and then place them ahead and then split them again and then place them in the middle here. So then what you get is this really cool visual image of you have face down, face up, face up, face down, face down, face up, and you just have like this cool image of these cards going every which way in terms of direction. Once you do this image, you want to stack them up again the same way you put it down. So take the middle first, and then you put it on top of the front pile, and then what you can do is just kind of turn your wrists over, but then just take these, put them back on their respective piles, and then take the right hand side and place it back on top. And this will put you back in the same position as the beginning. So now you have the two selections back on top over here. So once you're in this position, you can start out by doing the first production, which is the bonsai spin out move. Now, before you do this, you actually want to make sure when you split the cards in half, you don't just want to split it anywhere. You actually want to find that natural break between the last face up and the first face down card over here. So if you're using a deck that you've been using for a while, it should be fairly simple to find this natural break. It's very easy if you just kind of cut here and you want to find the point between these two face down cards. So if you're going to cut to the cards and you see a face up card here, or if you see a face up card here, that's incorrect. You want to make sure that you have two face down cards here that you see. And with practice, you don't even need to check. You'll just be able to feel. So like right here, I know that this is fine. I don't even need to check. And once I do this, I'm just going to lift it up a little bit, and then I'm going to hold a thumb break in the back like this with my thumbs, so that I know that this is the point in which I need to cut the deck and split it. Because now I'm going to do the bonsai spin out production, which is essentially you taking the top packet, moving it to the left, the bottom packet moving it to the right, and your right index finger is going to maintain contact with the top card, and it's going to spin it out like this. And that is the spin out production right over there. And this is going to be spectator number 1's selection. And at full speed, it looks something like this. You go 1, 2, 3, and you kind of just flick that card out from the top. And once you do this, you're going to point to the spectator and you're going to tell them that you want them to flip it over. But before you do that, you're going to be setting up the deck now to reveal the second card. And all you want to do is just take the piles and just kind of close them like a book. If you do that, it'll actually take this half and turn it over so that it will reveal the second card as the only face-up card in the middle of the deck. So just take these two piles, close them like a book, and then what I like to do is pick up the deck here and use this as my justification for doing that. I pick up the deck with my hand and I point to the card and say, cool, that was the card, right? After they flipped it over. So they can take it, flip it over, look at it, say, okay, cool, that was the card. And I just use my hand to point as a gesture, and I'm just kind of holding the deck like this normally. All I have to do is just set the deck down on the table, because now this is just a normal face down deck. And all I have to do now for the second spectator is snap my fingers and spread out the cards, and their card, the 3 of hearts, will be the only card that is facing up in the middle of the deck. And that right there is essentially how you saw the trick done in the performance right there. But I did mention earlier that if you want, you can do this with more than 2 selections. And how you want to do that is you would just want to get as many selections as you want controlled to the bottom of the deck. And then when you're doing the sloppy shuffle, you just want to get those selections isolated. So make sure, let's say if you have 4 selections here, just make sure you get 4 cards to be isolated on the top instead of the usual 2 or 1. So now you have the 4 selections here on the top. You want to produce the first 3 in a unique way and then save the last one as the triumph reveal. So you would save this one as the reveal when you flip this over, and then you spread the cards out, and then this card will be the only card in the middle. The only thing you want to keep in mind is with these first 3 reveals or productions that you do, let's say if you want to use the bonsai spin out production, that's cool. You can do that, but you don't want to do that every single time. You don't want to do the bonsai spin out production 3 times and then the triumph reveal as the last one, because the spin out production is going to get very stale after a while, and also the spectators might catch on to what's happening in the first place. So just be mindful. If you're going to do more than 2 selections, make sure you make the other productions that you're going to do unique in some way. Make them all different. Don't do the same production every single time. And those productions are completely up to you. You guys can be creative on what you want to do with that. But yeah, that is essentially the trick right there. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. And if you did, be sure to like the video. And yeah, see you guys next time. Bye.